Red alarm. Red alarm. It's 7 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Eastern, and that means it's time for Mission Log Live. I'm Norman Lau, and it is my honor to be one of your co-hosts for this evening. But even more honorable is our lovely returning co-host and guest host for tonight's show, Ashley V. Robinson. Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you. I read the show notes and I knew what the introduction was going to be, and I was generally prepared for it. It was so funny.
I had to get that in there because it's just, I think it's apropos, and I think it gets everyone in the mood. And why not? Because Packlets are fun, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of Packlets, we're talking about Packlets because tonight we're discussing Star Trek Lower Decks Episode 9. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Wajdouche?
You know, I think that if we mispronounce it, maybe we can have Mary Chifo out there somewhere in the yeah, I think it's Wajdouche. Right?
When it came up on my screen, I said, that's not in English. Oh, well, translated into basic Federation as 3 ships. So if you want to get in on all this Packlet talk, you know what to do. You click that Zoom meeting link, use the one tap from your smartphone, like my Kermit phone. You can go or I'm a Packlet today. You can call us at 669-900-6833. That'll connect you to Earl, our master, and get you into the Earl Green Room so that you can talk to us tonight. And if you're prompted for a meeting code and a password, those will be on screen. They're in the chat. Don't even worry about it. We got you. No need to red alarm over that.
So I don't know if you can see this, but I'm looking at our feed live, and Earl, in his engineering prowess, he has translated our names into Klingonese.
What?
Which is amazing. I've never seen my name in Klingonese. I'm trusting him. It's not like he translated
I hate this guy.
with Norm with no honor. Like he doesn't understand what honor means. That kind of thing. But here are some honorable mentions in the chat, because we love our chat. So we're going to say hi to our chat. And I love looking at the poll position for chat, because I don't know if Facebook's algorithm actually puts these people in first place, second place, third place. But we do have Paul Harveth here. Mike Richards, what's up, Cap? Valeria, hello. Oh, I wonder if Valeria has a difficult question for us in chat.
Are you going to make our pronunciations dishonorable?
I'm watching those opening credits every single time now. I know. Hey, Dennis, welcome. Scott Palm, good to see you. Let's see who else we have in the chat. Lots of people, lots of regulars. Dave, good to see you. John Arminio, thank you for being here. I do feel like a total legit radio host. I'm like, hey Dave, how you doing? Dave Takechi, good to see you. Good to have you here. Carlos, welcome back, sir.
What kind of radio do you host? Are you an all talk guy? You playing easy jams, all rush all the time?
All rush all the time. You know, my station's called 2112 because that's as far as in the future as I want to go with my broadcast. I'm wearing my Rush t-shirt tonight because I'm celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Happy World Mental Health Day. Happy Bi-Visibility Day. It's a big day for me personally today.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of actually very significant, very apropos celebrations especially for this episode, because there's a lot going on here. But before we get into this episode, we're going to just go over a few house notes here and just say, next week on Mission Log Live, we're going to be doing Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 10. My heart is so full right now and about to break, because you're get to do the last show of Mission Log Live with John.
I'll see you in a year.
So lame. Speaking of so lame, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Norman's got all the shade
I just want to light up the chat, because chat keeps us honest. This week on Mission Log, dropping on Thursday, we have Deep Space Nine's Prodigal Daughter. The one where, if you need a reminder, the one where Ezri Tegan learns that you really, really can't go home again unless you want to murder someone. And that will be dropping this Thursday. My shade also drops 5 decibel levels. So when I throw that out there, when you hear me whisper, it's big time shade. And on Wednesday, for our wonderful Patreon subscribers, we'll be releasing the unedited and unexpurgated TM John Champion video recording of Deep Space Nine's The Emperor's New Cloak. Big smile. and you really don't want to miss that one. So I'll discuss a little bit more on how you can join us on Patreon and then how you can join us on our amazing Discord server during our mid-show break tonight. So I want to catch up with you, Ashley, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you in at least a week, and that's a week too long for me. So what's going on with you? How are you? What's going on with your feelings towards marching towards the last episode of Lower Decks?
Don't pretend like we don't text. I am.
They don't need to know. People don't need to know. That's just for us. That's just for us. That's for we.
Right, that's private
for
times.
Us. Yeah.
Those are the lower decks of Mission Log.
Exactly.
Our text conversations. I'm like truly devastated that Lower Decks is ending because it's such a wonderful show. Getting to be a part of Mission Log Live is the highlight of my week. And this year, it's also come in a very busy time. So it's been very hectic compared to last year, but so fun. And I know we're going to get into the episode eventually, but high bar going into the finale.
I think so. It's sometimes when you see an episode like this, you're wondering like, how are they going to take it like that next step up? Mm-hmm. And just to make a point of it, I don't mean to sidetrack us, but it looked like in chat, people were saying that FB being Facebook, for all of you out there who aren't in the know, LOL. WTF.
Raffle.
I think that Facebook has gone down, but we're going to continue Mission Log Live because we do this service for all of our listeners and viewers who don't have the opportunity to join us live and will watch later. So yes, Ashley, we're getting towards the end. But is it the end though in Star Trek? There's always, as Mr. Spock said to Saavik in The Wrath of Khan, there always are possibilities.
Yes, the breath. There are possibilities and there are percolations. So it's the end of Lower Decks. Mm-hmm. But
what are you expecting from episode 10? And not from like, the previews point of view. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you feel like you need to wrap this up in a satisfying way for you?
Smooches.
You still want those smooches. You want Tandy and Rutherford the smooches.
Still holding out for it. Although this season has, I think, told me that it's probably not going to happen. And that makes me sad. I am hoping that we get to see the Titan one more time because I want, in the proud tradition of Trek finales, I want an action piece. Mm-hmm. I want a cliffhanger. And I want an emotional, like a tense moment. And I think we need Riker is the centerpiece of the best Star Trek season cliffhanger of all time.
All time.
And not up for debate, not looking for opinions. Science fact.
Yeah,
science fact.
Truly. Yeah.
So I want that. I want my new girlfriend, Talyn, to be on this. I love her so much. I will. I know. I mean, I know it's such a basic choice, but like she showed up and I was like, I'm in love with you. It seems like they're setting you up to stick around. Please stay around. So I hope that we get to see what brings her into the fold. I think that would be really exciting.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want all of the characters to move forward. And I think this season, because it's season 2, we don't have to do as much set dressing. We've seen a lot more character growth. So I'm really interested in the payoff of where everyone is going to wind up. So what do you need to see? What sticks out for you?
Well, I mean, I want to see if we're going to see an actual resolution of like what happened in this episode, and I don't want to spoil the recap too much. So we'll get to that a little bit in the discussion. But I also would like to see if they're going to say instead of Boimler going off ship, if anyone else is going to be going off ship for, meditation for, so something like that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Interesting. I would be devastated, honestly.
Well, it seems like that Mariner and and her mom are in a really good place. So maybe there's going to be something that knocks them off kilter. Who knows? I don't know. We don't know.
I think they actually coalesce. I know we only saw Mariner for a very small part of this episode, but I thought the way that coalesced was really like deeply satisfying because it finally feels like we've taken a step forward in their relationship.
Yeah. And it was nice that her mom acknowledged that, and Mariner in her own way, she acknowledged that too. So there's a lot of threads that are they're dangling in front of us, and what good writer and what good producer, and Mike McMahon wouldn't do that to us because he knows how important these characters are to us now. Oh, and by the way, just in case anyone needs to know this, in case you just want to do this right now, Ashley, as I do my recap, because it's important for you to be able to get access to the Ritos t-shirt, which Mike McMahon did tweet out.
That is
true. Available right
true.
now. So
I think I don't know if you read my notes, but I was like, I want this shirt.
Oh, I think everybody wanted the shirt as soon as they saw it, right? So we're going to jump into the recap. Hopefully, when I refresh my screen, we're going to be able to see the chat again. If not, we're going to still move ahead with the show. We have some great callers lined up. It's basically just doing mission log and ignoring the chat, which I can if I wanted to anyway, but I'm just not that kind of guy, right? It really depends on how I feel.
You're a sweet angel.
I wouldn't do that to chat. All right, so here we go. We're going to go with the recap for Lower Deck Season 2, Episode 9, Wish Dush. I think that's how you pronounce it. Mary Chiefo, please school me. Even if I'm right, please school me anyway. So, the recap. Normally, this would be a much long... I don't know why I started reading that in my radio voice. This is actually a note for me. So, or actually a note for the chat. So I wanted to say to the group, to the chat, normally this would be a much longer recap, but because this episode has so much to discuss, I feel that both our incoming callers in the chat room, if we ever get them back online, will have a lot to say. So I'm going to keep this brief so we can get in as many callers as we can. So here we go. Radio voice. During a long 12-hour warp period, the Lower Decks crew are planning their respective time-off adventures, with Mariner, Tendi, and Rutherford pairing off with other bridge officers to their respective excursions and activities. Boimler, however, is without a bridge buddy, so he goes off to find a new friend to bond with and wonders if any other race, and in fact, if any other lower-ranking crewmen and women in other cultures have the same problems. It turns out that they do, that the lower deckers are surprisingly similar to the rank and social structure aboard their respective ships and crews. T'Lyn, a low-ranking Vulcan on the heavy cruiser Cheval, is considered incorrigible and reckless as her passions and instincts challenge her captain and her fellow Vulcan crew members. Maha, a lower-ranking Klingon on the bird of prey Ch'ta, desires to climb the ranks of command by impressing upon his captain that the true and honorable Klingon path to glory is how the Empire will return to its rightful place of renown and influence in the galaxy, setting it apart from the weakness and frailties that the alliance with the Federation has caused the Empire to suffer. However, both T'Lyn's and Ma'a's respective destinies, along with those of Boimler and the Cerritos crew, come to a head as Ma'a uncovers the truth of Captain Dorg's dishonorable secrecies. Dorg has been the one who has been feeding the Packlids advanced technology all along and using their disarming and infantile reputation to throw the Federation and its allies off his scent. Dorg has been using the unassuming Packlids as a tool and a political shield so that he could destroy the Federation and ending their asinine alliance, which Dorg feels has been weakening the Klingon Empire. However, thanks to T'Lyn's unorthodox shield modulation schematics, the Cheval was able to shield the Cerritos from the combined Packlid and Klingon assault, while a crestfallen Ma'a summoned the courage and belief that honor is still the true warrior's way and killed Dorg to wrest command of the Ch'ta, stopping the assault on the Cerritos and warping away to deal with the fallout from the Klingon High Command. And even though T'Lyn was able to save her ship and crew from destruction at the hands of the Packlids, she was rewarded with the only logical option her captain could offer her, which was to remove her indulgent and emotionally reckless attitude from his ship and transfer her to a command on a Federation starship. The end. How did that go? Was it good? Chat, was it good? I believe it was. And if you don't say anything right now, I'm going to say that it was. Oh, you can't say anything.
Too brief.
I know, but we have so much to discuss.
I know.
So much to discuss.
The Easter egg breakdowns alone could occupy this entire chat.
And that's the tough thing about doing a breakdown for Lower Decks, is because you can really get caught up in the weeds, right? And just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Then all of a sudden, the recap becomes like 3 hours long, even though it's only a half an hour episode, but because of all the OMGs. And those are really, really hard to spell out all the time.
OHEMGEE.
So let's jump right into it. So this episode, where is it at for you? Good English, Norman. Where is it for you? Just in terms of the overall pantheon of Lower Decks, because I have a high ranking of it. I won't say how high until you tell me how high. Then I can tell you how high mine is based on how high you tell me yours is.
I feel like this is a leading question because you might know the answer to this. And I think it's pretty universally beloved. And this is one of the few times that Twitter and I actually agree on things. I would definitely put this high. I would put it in my top 3. I would probably put it as my favorite episode so far. I think it is definitely, if it is not my favorite, I think it is the objective best of what we have seen up to date. Someone's going to listen to this like 6 years in the future and be like, but what about that? Look, at the time of this recording, it's the best executed episode that I've seen. But I will say that Kayshawn's Eyes Open, I think, is also a very strong contender for me. But I think this, in terms of where Lower Decks sits in the Trek pantheon, I think this really cements it and what it does and why it's important. I saw a tweet talking about kind of messy first seasons or first opening seasons of Trek shows, and I just sent a GIF of the sarcastic Vulcan salute, because particularly after this episode, I was like, even if you're not here for the jokes, even if you're not here for the Easter eggs, like, this is great Trek. And of course it is the whole series, but this episode in particular, right, feels like a lift from the Lower Decks episode of TNG. But I think the way it expands out is so great. So it's definitely high for me. So now crush me and tell me why it's your least favorite episode.
It's my least favorite because if my least favorite were my favorite, then that would be the case. So, right. So I'm going to redirect that energy, because when I was finished watching it, I just couldn't believe like how tight it was. Like I know that this is a comedic interpretation of Star Trek, and that's fine. I think that's a fair assumption, at least on my part, of where Mike McMahon wants to take this show. But there were certain parts of this episode where I'm like, if you turned away from the TV set, yeah, okay, I'm old, I say TV set, or your phone, or your laptop, or anywhere that you consume your content, and you just listen to the soundscape of what was going on in that final battle scene, the scoring of it, the sound effects, the way that it was very cinematic, it elevated this episode to a quality that I don't think that Lower Decks has ever reached. And I'm not saying that Lower Decks has ever been anything but really high bar quality. It's just that, wow, that whole scene at the end, the way it was orchestrated, the way it was directed, the way it was choreographed, the fight scene, the dramatic intercutting in and out, the final battle between Ma'a and Dorg. I mean, that's like Klingon superiority, like, Game Service tries Skelly on music type fighting, right?
Have you been listening to the soundtrack?
I have not.
Because they finally released it, and she's a good time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Listening to a lot of that in No Time to Die. So
very good.
Very complimentary scores.
I can see that. Yes. 2 universes, very similar soundscapes.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I got my chat back up. So let's see. I'm just going to try to scroll back to see where the timestamp was when I lost everybody. Oh,
they'll let you know.
Yeah, so we're going to catch up a little bit here just in terms of real time. I don't think that there are any like hard questions yet, but what I'd like to do, Ashley, before we get into too many of our own points, is let's get into the callers, because it's their show. It's for them. And as much as I love talking to you, I also love talking to our listeners.
I know you love them more.
Almost just as much. So, hey, what do we got? We got Captain Mike first. Let's pipe him in. What's happening, Captain Mike? Good to see you.
Hey, this show is all about people like us getting a fanboy over people like you. So that's what the show is all about.
I feel $5 is heading your way.
Great show, great Jamie Horner-esque soundtrack, great kind of tribute to the Klingon music that we first heard in the motion picture. So good production quality, good all around, music quality, great all around. And you're right. I mean, it's a comedic look at Star Trek, but what did Star Trek do in the 60s? They used science fiction to kind of weave that sci-fi message into kind of a space Western, right? Because Westerns were popular at the time, and now we're using science fiction to weave that storytelling and that message, moral and meaning into space comedy, which comedies are popular as ever, and you got things like the Orville that weave that sci-fi message into a space satire. So if you're good at storytelling and you can kind of subvert your message and work it into a medium that people are maybe more receptive to listening to, then you can kind of get that more meaning, moral and message in there. And I think that's what it's all about. So I think it was just fascinating. Norm, we had chatted before about kind of what what I thought Star Trek was all about, and I kind of always come back to that human quality that you can be the perfect computer. But unless you have that human quality, there's going to be something missing. You can be the perfect Vulcan, and unless you have that human quality, there's going to be something missing. And I saw that there were so many good things, though. I mean, not to take anything away from the Vulcan storyline, the Klingon storyline, because that was really good too, from like an honor side of it. But just looking at the Vulcan ship, I mean, Terrell, by embracing those human qualities, those outbursts, those childish emotions that she could barely keep under control, she saved the day. I mean, she really did. If it wasn't for what she did, that Vulcan ship wouldn't have shown up. And I think that's really just seeing that in action in a modern iteration of Star Trek, I think is fantastic.
Well, sure. I mean, we've seen kind of like where, too many logicians, they spoil the meal, too many logicians in a kitchen, and they can't get out of their own way of analysis paralysis. So yeah, it's nice to see, Talin's character be this character that's like, what if we thought about it a different way? And this is one of my notes, but I got to fit it in here because it makes me cry almost every single time I hear it because of how important the movie was to me. But, when Spock said to Valeris in 6, logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. That has echoed through Star Trek in so many different permutations. And every time you hear it, it's because it needs to be said. It's because it's an anchor point to a certain place and a certain time and how it echoes into the past. And that's, of course, the Tallinn looks a lot like, Valeris. Right? She had the bob hair. She had the headband and all that kind of. She looked exactly like Kim Cattrall, from 6. So I think that there was a nice kind of through line, from this character to that character. But at the same time, though, you have to remember that without this type of forward thinking, then there's no progress, right? The Vulcans would be stuck in kind of like this endless loop of logicking themselves into oblivion. So, and they almost did, because if they didn't have the shield modulation formula that she created, they would have been destroyed.
Exactly right.
And maybe it was good, kudos on the captain. I was feeling like, I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm throwing some theories out there. Ashley, help me out here. But was the captain in any way related to her? Like Mariner's related, to her mom as captain?
Interesting. Was Maurice LaMarche related to her?
So
that crossed my mind too. There was a little bit of a vibe going on there. And I think they were definitely trying to recreate. She was the kind of the Vulcan version of Mariner, obviously, I think. Or at least maybe that's how I picked up on it. Maybe not obviously. But that was
the Vulcan
kind of
salute at the end. That very
that,
irreverent way of doing that. I'm like, oh, that's so like Mariner and her mom, that just kind of like sticking, like basically giving the Vulcan salute as the middle finger, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I know that it wasn't established there, but I just couldn't help but make those kind of parallels.
I loved every time she even sort of pushed back where they were like, you need to calm down. You're having an outburst. I was like,
you are out of control.
If anyone wants to dig back on MSN groups, my username when I was a young baby child used to be Cocky Vulcan. And so watching that, I was like, wow, did I peg myself wrong for this race of people? But the scene where the redheaded Vulcan, who is I don't know the actor's name, but he's Sparks Nevada. Every time he had like a snide come back to her, I was like, this is why Vulcans are the best. They're the best. It was so much fun to watch them just be like snide at each other the entire time.
Because it's funny because we project that as being snide, but Vulcans project that as being breathing, right? If they turn around, it's like, really, you are acting very incorrigible today. Clutch the pearls. Am I really? I thought I was just having an honest opinion of my own worth.
Like, I just had a deep breath. I didn't realize it was so okay.
We have a lot of callers lined up here. I was about to say Uncle Mike, Captain Mike.
Well, I will go ahead and bounce. I called in early tonight because I did not want to have to follow Valeria. So I am out, and you guys have a great night. I'll enjoy the rest of the show from the sidelines.
Solid
Bye,
call.
Mike.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay. Batter up. We have Valeria. What's happening? And what new theories do you have for us?
I know, blow our minds.
Hopla! That's all I gotta say. Like, ugh. Listen,
So
what did I say on my first call? We got the Packlets added to the intro, and we got the Klingons added to the intro.
Yeah. I also thought of you when we saw that the Packlids were not operating like autonomously, that they were being puppet mastered. I was like, oh my God, Valeria nailed it.
I still thought it was going to be the Romulans, but I'm glad it was the Klingons to bring out
There's
back
still
this
time.
whole.
There's
Yeah.
still time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
no,
all right.
like I was waiting for a Romulan ship to show up, but also, why did we get that final shot on the Borg cube lower decks?
That was funny too. That was like,
As
it's
far as
leading, but it's the best
it's-
joke of the episode as
As
well.
far as the trivia
Right.
that I've read, that's the only post-credit scene, like, or during credit scene that's been created so far for the series. So that's got to mean something, because you just don't animate dollars into something that you're not going to use, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. everything that I predicted is playing out. Everything
Yeah.
that I predicted is playing out.
People step up your game when you call in there. People step up your game, because you got this is going on right now.
I just
right?
wanted to talk about the cute girl, and Valeria comes on and is like, I know more than everybody.
Okay, but yes. I really hope that we see Talin get transferred to the Cerritos.
Yes.
And I want her and Mariner to kiss.
Ooh,
Acceptable. I find this acceptable.
Ashley,
I
your
think-
kisses.
Kisses.
Your
I
kisses.
think that they would interact really nicely and just like push each other in delicious ways.
Because you have you almost kind of have this roguish personality with Talin, roguish for a
Mhm.
Vulcan,
Yeah.
but not roguish for Mariner, but in a way where I think that the way that she would like toss shade at Mariner's, the way that she does things
Mhm.
would totally get under her skin in a way that nobody else has been able to get under her skin. And that kind of gets
And
kinda sexy,
Mariner's also
right?
driven to extraction by any sort of calmness or control.
Uh-huh.
And Talin, for being an emotional Vulcan, is very controlled.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the arguments? Like, you placed the dirty dishes in the sink and did not wash them the way I asked you to. Oh, I don't know. Why do I always have to do them?
Yes.
This is the
And
fanfiction I need.
also, Billups made Rutherford soup.
I
Yeah,
also
yeah.
thought of you. I was like, that's basically a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know who else? You know who else made someone soup on Star Trek? Chapel
yep.
made soup for Spock in Amok Time to try
Cisco
to flirt.
also made
Yep.
soup for Cassidy.
Yes.
It's
So there you go. Soup is the
the
soup's the
love
date.
language.
it's the date food, right?
Uh-huh.
Well,
The love
it's
link.
kind of messy. So if you can get down with someone slurping noodles out of soup, you're probably a good match.
I dig that. I totally dig that.
Ah.
So okay,
And,
we have time for one last mind-blowing possible theory perspective, Valeria. So what do you have for us before we go?
Okay, so El Cap was not just a Star Trek V reference, it was also a California reference.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Ooh,
pulling double duty.
good
It was pulling double
call.
duty.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
Well, I'm done.
Californians. I'm not gonna ask where you're from, because I shouldn't do that. But Californians kind of dig. They know their vibe, right? They know their references. So yeah, I feel that.
I'm not from California, but I did spend a couple years there, and Boimler being from Modesto only makes sense.
Completely. Yes.
Right?
That is so correct. It's either got to be that or Sacramento, right? Like,
I really wanted to like break out his like Modesto, like his accent. Like, I'm from Modesto, man.
There's got to be a holodeck episode where he's Bill and or Ted, and we can bring that up.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's like at the academy, maybe he's talking to like kind of like, I love the fact that there was like an ensign in training, like,
Mhm.
that was looking up to him.
Mhm.
And he's like, you know how long it took me to get rid of that Modesto accent. And now he's like talking like, with a formal accent. It's like, but, when I was like younger, man, I was like, yeah, it took me a long time to get rid of this because I said it's so Californian, So, yeah. But how much did you love those costumes, man? The what is that? The CTR, like the cadet in training.
Mm-hmm.
Those were so cool.
Mhm.
Loved them.
Yes.
It was also a great use of the story circle, which I know some people's
Mhm.
mileage may vary on, but to see Boimler at the end get to take on a mentor role. I was like, this is really sweet.
Yes.
And I held a lot of resentment for Boimler because I feared him being a mediocre white guy lead. And this episode, more than any, I was like, okay, you prove me wrong. You're right. He's cute and I like him and he's nice. Okay, great, fine. Okay.
That dude, like the young ensign in training, he was like the Boimler fresh, squeaky Boimler version that we saw at the very beginning.
Yes,
of Lower Decks,
very
right?
that. Very
so you
that.
actually, when you use a character like that, you actually see how far Boimler has come.
From the pilot, for sure.
Exactly.
And this is like the third time this season that Ransom has specifically like pointed out Boimler being good at things.
Yeah. I love that shot where they shot him in the background. He was like, yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy, right? You don't have to try so hard. We dig your worth, right?
But also, like, Hawaii's great, and I understand why you would want to pretend to be from there. I'm just saying.
Ooh, we just did it. Ooh, yeah, I get it. Energy. All right, Valeria. Well, thank you so much for blowing the chat's minds again. And we're looking forward to seeing what we're looking forward to seeing what you have in store for us
the finale.
The finale.
No pressure.
Next week. Right? So please call in. We're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. All right. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Wow. Before we get to you, Chris, I just want to take a moment here to talk about where everyone can catch the first, 20 minutes that we were down from Facebook, or maybe 15 minutes that we were down from Facebook. You can actually find that on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you go to Mission Log on YouTube, Mission Log Live, and then find anything that you've missed. But also, I did mention before earlier on the show that we upload and record the unedited and unexpurgated recording of a podcast that we do for the next week, not this week, but the next week, specifically for our Patreon subscribers. And you can go to patreon.com/missionlog to see what subscribership level works best for you. But everyone who does subscribe to our Patreon gets access to Discord. And Ashley, you spent some time in our Discord, our specific Discord server for Mission Log.
Yeah, baby, I'm a lurker. I'm a lurker and I'm a liker.
I dig. So what have you seen so far that you've liked lurking around there? And tell all of our listeners about it, please.
Ooh, I like it when people share their theories or little Easter eggs. We get a lot of great screen caps for people who watch on their laptops or on their phones. And then you do my job for me and I take your thoughts and I put them in my notes. So I really like that. But also, I've requested many fan arts and they have been made in the Discord. So the one with Norman and I my hands don't make a heart because they're weird shaped. But our names carved together. It was so sweet. I love it so much. So it's a good time in the Discord.
Yeah, I had to download that and then print it out on transfer papers so that my tattoo artist could make sure that they get it in scale. Put it on.
I was like, we got to get them on t-shirts.
I'm just saying, that should be a thing. Solo conventions, buttons, pins, flyers, and t-shirts. Maybe long sleeve shirts. Definitely tank tops.
Definitely tank tops.
Definitely
and tube tops if we can make it work.
Oh, I just don't have the body for that. I got to lose about 20 pounds.
All bodies are good bodies.
I know, but then I need like my 6-pack abs so I can make that wood undulate. Like
you trying to look like Ransom?
Who doesn't try to look like Ransom?
That's fair.
For, try being the operative word. I'm from Hawaii too. Can't you tell?
The hair.
Yeah, the hair thing. Yeah. So anyway, please go to patreon.com/missionlog. And if you'd like to join and subscribe, please do. We'd love to have you there with us on our Discord server as well. All right, enough of my yakking. Let's get Chris on here because we got to get some feedback from Dr. Miggly Moo's other personality.
Yes.
Hey guys, I'm in the hot seat following Valeria. I'm like, oh man, this is intense.
You got to get pole position number 1 because you never know where Valeria's going to get slotted into the call.
No, yeah, but no, I'm here with the remnants of my Mai Tai for the Hawaii theme.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I mean, echoing things that people have said before. I love T'Lyn. T'Lyn is 100% ending up on the Cerritos. If not next week, then early season 3. Like, that's clearly the arc we're going for. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what the sort of big battle is. Like, this is when I wish we had more time. Like, you want a 60-minute finale, because, like, I want to see the council meetings, and also the battle, and also whatever, like, character moments you want to have. Because I mean, they did it in season 1, and it was a great finale, but I wish you had more, because there's a lot, I feel, going on this season that needs to be resolved.
What if the end battle, this just came to me because Valeria just brought it up, so thank you again for doing my job for me. What if the battle is the 3 lower decks that we saw v the Borg cube that we saw?
Get out of town, sister.
I know the Packlins are going to be in there somewhere as well with the red alarms, but I was like, but why would you show them for nothing? That we've just talked about how there has to be a fight in the end. Borgs are bad, except not, but pretty universally, they're great finale enders and deeply, deeply frightening.
Well, so at the end of this episode, we saw that Ma'a took off with his bird of prey back to the high command to kind of straighten this whole thing out, because he does, he is an officer that believed that the higher ups should be acting with honor, so that's what he believes. So he wants to go out there and straighten things out. T'Lyn, she thought that Vulcans should use logic to succeed in their missions and not to get stuck and mired down and bogged down in just, again, this analysis paralysis. It just seems like the lower deckers, our lower deckers on the Cerritos, are the ones that they've grown the most from what we've seen. And perhaps these 3 storylines, these 3 ships, right?
I'll sounds like a karate move. I don't know.
I'll do that for anyone's cell phone if you want that for recording. $199 per use. So yeah, but you have these 3 storylines that are kind of converging on each other. Will they converge again? Towards the season finale, towards the end of the season finale, or is this something that is going to be used sparingly but with great effect throughout the course of season 3? Because I'll tell you what. Every single time they cut to a new lower decker scenario, I'm just like, I am here for this. I want to see a Romulan lower decks. I want to see an Andorian, a Tellarite, like all of them, right?
The Tellarite lower decks is just them all talking smack at each other.
Exactly. Fist fights, all that kind of stuff. But, I guess that's the great thing about the show is because you can explore a lot of these ideas in a way where you don't have to commit, millions of dollars to them. That means that you have the opportunity to go into a storytelling mode that normally is never seen. So I think that's great, just really rich and really fertile opportunity to tell stories. But let's get back to the Borg thing, because that is big deal, right? That's a big deal.
No, I think it's got to mean something, right? Again, what you were talking about, you don't animate it. Yes, it's a joke, ha ha ha, Borg cube. They just sit and they're quiet, but I don't know. Do we know how the Romulans got the Borg cube? Did they tell us, or were they just we have this now, deal with it? Do we know the backstory from Picard? What event?
It's always Tal Shiar, dude.
Yeah.
Whenever Star Trek gets written into a corner, it's either Obsidian Order, Tal Shiar, Section 31, something like that, right? It's how did you get it? Section 31. Enough said. Move on, right? It's a trap door for any getting written to a corner, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just that I think from Countdown, the comic book that led into Star Trek 2009, the Tal Shiar got a hold of Borg technology and put that into Nero's ship, and then sent Nero's ship back in time. That was never alluded to in the movie itself, but they actually did establish the fact that that's why the Narada was so kitted out. Because it was kitted out with hybrid Borg technology from a Tal Shiar absconding with Borg technology. That happens, hey, Valeria, I'm thinking, happens before this, right? So this could be the Borg cube that,
because 09 is about the supernova, or that's old Nimoy's deal, is evacuating. Oh, yeah, no, it's all...
That Countdown comic book is very good. If anyone slept on it, it's super easy to find digitally for cheap or free. It's very good.
Yeah, it's really good. Or you can get it from Eagle Moss Hero Collector, the really nice pristine collector copy.
Oh, yeah, if you're a collector and you want the vibe, yes.
You're welcome, Eagle Moss. Plug. Right? All right, Chris, we have a few callers to get to. So one last thought of the episode. What do you want to have happen?
What do I want to have?
I'm throwing so much hand.
Where is Mealy Moo gonna be?
Yeah. I think we get one appearance. I think he's probably on the bridge. Maybe he gets a couple lines. That'd be cool. Maybe he's part of the intake program for T'Lyn. Is welcome to Starfleet. Do your psyche vow.
Yes, please, yes.
Oh my gosh. So good, right? Man, our listeners, man, you're killing it. You're all killing it.
They're making us look very bad at our job.
Like, really? I wore this T-shirt for nothing. Thanks a lot, Canadian Thanksgiving Day. Whatever.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Great to see you again. Thanks for calling in. Fantastic insights. We will see you next time.
See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Peace. Okay. So no pressure. Paul, Tendy looking over your shoulder with judging eyes.
Red alarm.
Yeah.
Red alarm.
That's a Tamarian thing, right? You know, Tendy with judging eyes.
You check every day over my shoulder. If I got a question, I just ask her, and she whispers in my ear, so it's good.
Ooh, lucky you, though.
So my theory is that Valeria is actually one of the writers. And they are being sent here to simply get feedback. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. So we'll see how that works out.
If not, we need to petition.
I'm trademarking
for Valeria
everything.
to become a writer.
Yeah, I am. If I ever meet Mike McMahon, which we hopefully will in Chicago, I'm going to walk up to him with a picture of Valeria. Says, "You need to meet this person and put them on your staff." I mean, wow, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So Norman, you took a little bit of my thunder. Here's one for you. What about a pack-led lower deck?
Right? Red alarm.
Stacking
Red
boxes.
alarm.
Green alarm or green vegetables. Who knows what they would say? I think that would be sort of hilarious. But a Ferengi lower deck, that would be
good.
Oh yeah, we sort of saw that on DS9 though, right? Sort of a little bit,
Well, I mean, Nog is kind of Ferengi lower decks, right?
That's true.
Well, I think his dad is lower deck and Nog is the exact. Right?
That's true. True.
Oh,
yeah. Rom's lower deck.
Rom. Oh, he's so good. He's the goodest.
And then Romulan lower deck is the one you have to think about with the, are they going to feed the pack leads next? Right. Fascinating stuff.
They're just getting used, right?
Oh,
They're just getting straight up used.
Well, they get stuff. Give me stuff.
They always want presents, and I'm like, me too. Don't get me
wrong.
Too. But do you have a present for me?
Wait, so did the Klingons make them the big hats? Is that where they got the big hats from the Klingons? It's like,
oh my gosh, I hope so.
We can come up with that big hats. Who was it who had the big hats? It's the Q continuum, right? He had the big hat.
For real.
We're using Ashley's thing up here instead of down here. It's the big hat, but
inverted.
Yeah, the interesting thing about what I liked with the Klingons in this episode, they kind of like return the Klingons back to kind of like the TNG and season 4 DS9, the very divisive, very Machiavellian kind of Klingons. Where they're like
we even get
scheming
some Shakespeare lines. We got once more into the breach, which was really great.
Yeah. So, and also, I mean, with dorks, like they borrowed Gowron's eyes, man, right? They gave him Gowron's bug eyes, which is always awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you also lost 2 Klingon captains in 22 minutes. I think that's a record. On the same ship. On
the same ship. I think that's the important asterisk.
That was pretty impressive. I mean, even for Klingons, that's a big turnover.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So let's see, just a couple more things. Sure. Did you guys talk about the shirt, the Rito shirt? I think you did, right?
Yeah. And
but
thanks
how much
to everyone.
We all want one.
Thanks to us being here, Ashley and I. Thanks to everyone delaying us right now, and being so great and being great in the chat. I can't end the show early, so I can get my Cerritos shirt. So whatever, I don't care. Somebody.
I bought 2 already.
I hope you bought one in the large.
Are they
on? You bought one in extra awesome.
So. Are they on StarTrek.com?
They are, yeah.
Yeah. McMahon tweeted those. I can say McMahon because we're buds, right? We're bros. So I can say, McMahon tweeted that out today, 7 hours ago, of which I didn't see until 30 minutes before the show. So
I didn't know about it until Norman told me. And if anyone's heard the soft clicking in the background, that was me purchasing those shirts.
Oh, I would have done that. I totally would have done that if you were doing the recap in a heartbeat. And I know that you wouldn't have been offended because you would have done the same, which you did, which is great.
Yeah, we are kindred spirits, you and I.
Well, yeah,
so I'm going
to
be ordering the Tallinn standee to go next to this one. So
how dare you?
Smooch?
Yes, that would be sort of fun in the background.
What you should do, Paul, is you should get Valeris and Tallinn.
Valeris standee would be a tough one to find, but they're out there probably. I don't even know. I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
Someone send a link if you know where one is.
Here, Paul, buy this. I'm gonna end on a really random note because I make model spaceships. Rutherford completed his DS9 model because he was playing with it while he was sleeping, and when he was in his bunk. So I just wanted to point that out, that he has accomplished something that a lot of model makers never do, which is start a project and finish it. So
this is true. This is 100% accurate. Absolutely true.
All right, I'm going to pass it on to Sherry. As always, a pleasure, and thank you for everything you guys do. See ya.
Thanks, Paul. Good seeing you.
Bye.
My Sherry Moore back on the podcast, and I adore.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There we go. All right.
She didn't want you to feel lonely.
Yeah. Welcome back. Nice to see you. I'm glad that you come on only on my shows and not John's shows. So.
I'm sorry, I did come on last week, Norman.
But I wasn't here, so
yeah,
okay.
I wasn't there though.
All right, very good.
Well, it seems to happen about once a season of Lower Decks. I have to be waylaid. So
at least it wasn't because you were on fire this time.
I was not on fire this time. Just inside my body.
All right, I'll forgive you this time. Your appearance on last week with John and Ashley was.
That's why I had to come this week, because I had to even it out.
Balances out the universe, the equation of the universe. All right, so big episode. How'd you feel about it?
I liked it. I don't have like a ton necessarily to say about it. I actually wanted to have. I had a general question of, it's been bothering me since we found out early on that Captain Freeman is Mariner's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Where does she get the name Mariner from?
I have been asking this for so long.
It always makes me think of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. That's what it makes me think of every single time. I love the name for her. I love it, but I just kind of wonder where she gets it from.
Which version of Rime of the Ancient Mariner? If you say Iron Maiden, I will be yours forever. You're talking about the literary one.
The literary one, sorry.
I think this is a question that we're going to trap Mike. We're going to make him talk to us, that we need to ask him. But I sort of explained it to myself with that's her mother's maiden name. And maybe when she went into Starfleet, she didn't want to seem like she was getting preferential treatment because her father's also an admiral.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's Progressive Future. Maybe it's her father's maiden name and he took her mother's last name. Or, I mean, I'm sure the answer is probably she made it up. Let's be honest, because it's Beckett Mariner. She do what she want to do. But
I love that she used to be Becky.
Yeah. Hello.
In what universe, right? In what universe are you going to call that stunning woman Becky?
She may have been, I don't know, she may have been adopted. It could be her real name, and
That's
she's
true.
not related to either parent. But yeah, it's okay. So you just went up Valeria. Sorry, not sorry. That's just what happened.
Fight.
Yeah, right. Let's do it. We'll have to get you on a phone call, both of you on a phone call with Mike McMahon to see if you can straighten it all out.
Yes.
Right. So we'll see. Yeah, that's a legit question. That's a legit question.
Yeah, it's been fucking. I did want to comment on some of the things other people had said that they mentioned Mariner and Talim dating, and honestly, I would love to see Mariner date anyone at this point that not Boimler, who's not Boimler, because I feel like Boimler's gotten to go on a date with somebody, and like Tandy and Rutherford haven't gone to necessarily to go on a date. Rutherford's gone on a date with Barnes.
Yeah.
Tandy sort of she had a kiss with the Ascension dude.
Oh yeah, what was his name?
I don't know. He's just Ascension dude. That was his thing. He wanted it to be his thing, and now it will be his thing forever. He's just Ascension dude.
Ascension dude.
Truly, absolutely.
So I like, because she told Tandy, she's like, well, I date all the time. But she hasn't in the course of the season. And so it makes sense that Tandy feels kind of like us. She's like, I don't know. I just always see you with Boimler. She's like, ew, no. So I want to see her date someone. So be it Talin, be it anyone. I don't care who it is, who's not Boimler.
Let's
I have a big question.
Mariner late.
So I have a big question for both of you and for the chat. Do you think we're going to lose a character the way we lost Shax at the season finale?
I hope not.
I'm just putting it out there. You know,
I
Shaq's the
hate
big
it when
deal.
that happens, so I'm really hoping no.
Oh man.
Although I had considered that maybe they might bring Talin over just to kill her. But like it would be like it would be like an epic one.
So
like,
many pearls clutched right now. Oh my
it
God.
sounds horrible, but like
Not
I feel
our-
like if
not
they
our
were gonna
collective
get rid of
girlfriend.
anyone, if they were gonna get rid of anyone, I feel like they would bring her over, and at least they've already established her as being like a really cool character, so we'd actually care. And then she'd do something like heroic and save them all.
Oh my God.
with her Vulcanness.
Oh,
I did love seeing the Vulcan cruiser also like coming out of nowhere and like taking on the fire, and I was like, yes, I love those Vulcan cruisers.
There were so many like
cool.
I was like, oh my God, I'm tearing. So many happy tears right now.
I love that the trapping of Vulcan design is completely illogical, right? Like that ship makes no sense. Like the little meditative genie lamps make no real sense in space. Nothing about like their cultural heritage is really all that logical, but I think that's what makes them magical as well. It's why they're my favorite race. I love
space
them so
elves.
Much.
Are we talking about space elves? Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, you're most of the way to the eyebrows, so you got to be on Team Vulcan.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I kind of color these in so they just don't go all the way up. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Team Vulcan.
You joke, but I fully fill in my brows before we get on the skull every week.
Oh, the whole the bro thing. Yeah, get the eyebrows going. Maybe Vulcan and Romulan, because I am kind of how do my relatives put it? Difficult in the realm of logic. So not difficult that I don't know logic. Difficult that they don't care, but I keep going anyway. Right? You know, like a conversation with Spock and Kirk just leaves and Spock just keeps going on. Much like what I'm doing right now. Right? So everyone's like looking at me like blank.
Earl's like
sorry.
Back there, like, come on.
I'm sorry,
man.
Cherie. I shouldn't do that. Shelly.
Ma chérie.
Okay, so one last thing for the season finale. Is there something that you specifically would like to see aside from like the kissing?
Well, I did wish that we'd gotten more of the Packlids lower decks in this one. I love that they showed them, because when I saw that they were going to show the Klingons and the Vulcans, I'm like, you know what? They should show us the Packlids, because we got nothing but the Packlids this whole time. And then they show them like for a little bit, and it's cute. But red alarm! I did love the red alarm. I love the red alarm.
I know, right? That should be on a T-shirt. I want this, or I want the Ritos T-shirt, but I just want the one that's like red alarm in like a really crappy font, you know. And I would wear it just like all just it's Packlid.
It's a good potential text alert too.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. that is great. That's a really good idea. But what I really want to see actually for the finale is, I've kind of been hoping that they'll circle back around to the Packlids being a danger because everyone underestimates them. Because I remember that's what Mike McMahon said in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're playing everyone. Maybe they're playing the Klingons too. We used the bomb, we exploded it, we need another one. Maybe they didn't.
Mm.
Like
I would love that.
You know, it's very well possible that like the Packlids at any given point in time will drop the veil and just be like so calculating, so smart. And it's like but the time needs to be right. Like all the pieces need to be exactly where they need them to be, and they'll out tactical maneuver the Romulans in that way.
I don't know that I want them to be smart though. Like I think I love the idea that Mike McMahon was just saying that like stupid people can be actually really dangerous, especially when they get power. Yes. And they can get power because if people give it to them, like the Klingons are giving them like weapons and stuff. So I'd love it if they circled back around to that idea. And the Packlids aren't necessarily intelligent, but they have been playing them. They've been
it's
like,
how democracy works sometimes.
We have all these bombs because you believed us when we said that we blew them up. Yeah.
All righty. So we have we're just running out a little bit of time here. So I don't of course that between as much as I love Alan Spawn, I love seeing Spawn, Alan Simmons, or Simonis, either way. And I would totally cut him off to have a little bit longer conversation with you, Sherry. We have to be fair to all of our listeners. And I just want to say it's great to see you. And I know you have to be there next week for the season finale. You know, I know it's John's show. I don't care.
I'm sorry.
So whatever. Yeah. I'll show up in some way, shape, or form and troll him and say hi to everybody. So
yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Nice to see you again.
Live long and prosper.
All right, Alan, what's up, man? You got the last word.
Oh my goodness, guys. What a show this was. I just want to echo what everyone else has said. It was a great episode. It was so refreshing to see the Lower Deckers galaxy wide, I guess you could say. I'm a big fan of when you present aliens or fantasy creatures or whatever genre you happen to be in, and they're just talking about really mundane stuff, but in their very specific, hyper-articulated ways. Like, I could listen to Klingons or Vulcans or whoever talk about, like, doing laundry for hours because it's just fascinating.
This stain has no honor.
Yes.
Nor does the company that runs the washing machine at my building.
Oh, hey-o.
It is. Yes, it is. It is illogical that this should require yet another cycle through the,
You've washed it once
rinse.
Already. Isn't that sufficient?
Exactly. Yes.
No. Oh my God, you're being incorrigible. I just want my stain out. How dare you?
Yeah. Or like you were saying earlier, the dishwasher conversation. It is logical that you place the dishes vertically along the bottom and the bowls and glasses on top so that they catch the water. I don't see how you don't see this.
I also feel like you're acting out scenes from that upcoming film, Scenes from a Marriage.
Possibly. That's, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's put that in space too. While we're
why not?
Let's go crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so looking forward to the finale next week. I can't wait to see what they've got in store for this last episode, because this sort of almost feels like the climax of whatever they're doing with the Packlids, and next week we're going to get maybe like a lowering of that plot line, and then just like last year they'll hit us with something else right at the very end, kind of like how they brought the Packlids in the first place,
right? So. Well, I mean, the Borg babies. I mean, that's a big deal.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
we kind of glossed over that, but that's a big deal. So.
Yeah, but the Borg babies were not real, right? That was a holiday program.
Yeah, they were part. The Borg babies were part of Boimler's training scenario, but I mean, maybe that could be part of Borg lower decks duties.
Let me clarify: the Borg lower deckers, I should say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, the Borg lower deckers are on babysitting duty. Who knows?
Logical, Yeah, I should say. I'm sorry. I every time I said Borg babies, I was thinking of Borg lower deckers.
Jim had says Borg babies.
Did you notice?
Jokes on you, there were actual Borg babies this season.
I know. I remember.
They were there all along.
Did you notice that all the lower deckers, all their counterparts had the same eyes? Like Talin and Mariner literally had the same animated eye shapes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ooh. There was a Klingon. The old Klingon had Shax's scar.
Yes, he did. That's honestly, they probably just used the same.
Right, the same
references.
assets.
Yeah, assets.
Yeah,
Thank you. I was like, I don't know anything about design.
Right. But it was all there. So,
anyone who's listening is missing Alan's great pantomime right now.
I want to see like the Hesperians come in and save the day in medieval couture and all of the Ren Fair fashion. Right. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see.
So
I think that'd be super cool. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah, and I would love to get, and clearly it feels like we got lower doppelganger gangers for
don't hurt yourself. I need you for your meme this week. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to try to pull something out of, but we got Talen for Mariner. We got for Boimler. Yeah.
How many syllables can we cram in this name?
Yeah. Which, if we're gonna get Talen next year, I don't think that guy's gonna have too much of a future in Klingon society. Let's bring him aboard too. He can transfer. Let's get him all.
No pessimism here. We're all looking for like a brighter future for Arma'a. Come on, man.
Well, maybe his brighter future is stacking crates with the rest of them. So.
I think his brighter future is probably an exploding bird of prey doing something honorable. That's what I think. Right?
I like that they kept calling him tiny. I thought that was so funny. Because I didn't think he was demonstratively smaller than anyone else until it was referenced. And I was like, oh, it's a tiny Klingon. How fun.
But the best part about that whole Klingon affair was the Targ. Targ saving the day, right?
Oh, I mean, the Targs are so ridiculous. I love them so much. And it was so nice because we're obviously not restricted by CG or puppetry or animatronics to be able to see a Targ in its full constipated glory.
Yeah. What was the line actually that you loved so much?
It was an honorable passing.
Yeah.
The leg is the leg has been recovered.
Yes.
All right, lightning round, my friend, because we are out of time. So last thing, what do you want to see happen in the season finale?
Let's see. Well, I think it would be cool to get another big time cameo like they got Jonathan last year. I don't know who that would be, but we can play around.
I have a theory. I don't know why I'm like whispering into my mic because I shouldn't, because that's bad podcasting hosting. I have a theory.
Unless it's ASMR, but yes, go ahead.
So my theory is that we're going to get Worf.
Ooh. I was wondering why the Pakleds weren't calling all the Klingons Worf.
Oh my God.
Hello,
see
Worf.
That? These are treasure hands. I just dropped treasure on everyone.
They were priming us.
Just saying. I'd like to see Worf. I'd like to see Michael Dorn animated, and I think it makes sense. So, anywho's, Alan, thank you. I was like, yes, sir. Sorry, buddy. I gotta give you the shepherd. So,
I just want to say that I hope everybody has a great time discussing the finale. With any luck, I'll be serving on the USS Anaheim this time next week. So, have fun.
All right, man. Well,
you have fun.
We'll try and not to spoil too much. I'll make sure that you get all the spoilers in your direct feed from me personally, so you know who to blame. So, but thanks for calling in. Always good to see you. And bring your meme game because
because we're watching.
All right. Yes. All right. So many great calls, so many great chats, so many great comments in the chat section, and I wish we could get to them all. But we are actually legit out of time. But I want to ask you, Ashley V. Robinson.
Yes.
The number one thing that you want to see happen. I'm sorry, you already said that. The number one thing that we didn't get to in your notes that you loved the most from this episode.
Ooh, so tough. I'm going to go with Shax throwing Pottery and Rutherford continuing to have the best one-liners where he get out of here, rage. He's the best. He's adorable. What about you?
Probably. Hold on a second. I got to get my notes here because I'm not nearly as smart as you are. I wrote these down. I do love it's a small detail, but I love the fact that it started off like non-traditionally with the Klingon translation of the title. I thought that was super cool. And the reason why I'm like thrown off, I've been thrown off like my entire game, this entire episode, because every time I talk, I see my name in Klingon. I have no idea what that means. Like I should know what this means. I don't. Like, I'm just a guy behind a mic trying to do something for 60 minutes. So
you didn't spend your teenage years learning Klingon?
No, I was learning Romulan.
You're just pandering to Valeria now. I see.
I got to play the long game as Romulans do. Right. Always a pleasure, Ashley, having you on the show. And as much as you were going to be on the season finale with John, I'll take this opportunity to say I love and adore you, and I'm glad that we were able to spend this time together. I'm going to give you the big V on the chin because this is what we do. And for everyone who has listened to Ashley and I on our coverage from Lower Decks, she's fantastic. She brings so much great energy to the show. Passionate, knowledgeable, and what else can I say that I can't repeat in a court of law. So Ashley, for all of our fans and all of our listeners, how can they stay in touch with you? What's going on with you? And would you like to plug anything at this time?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ashley V Robinson. The V is very important. I'm really sad that this is the last time Norman and I are going to get to talk about Star Trek for like a year. And just want to say, my darling friend, that the feeling is incredibly mutual, and can't wait to text you about the finale.
Straight up. And I will totally troll you. Well, I won't troll you. I'll troll John, and I'll say hi to you next week. But until that time, Mission Log Live has been produced by Roddenberry Entertainment, executive producer Rod Roddenberry. Technical production on Mission Log and Mission Log Live is provided by the absolutely amazing, dedicated Earl Green, also host of The Green Room. Be sure to visit podcast.roddenberry.com for the latest from Roddenberry Podcasts. And if you would like to support Mission Log directly, give us a look at patreon.com/Mission Log. So thanks to everyone who endured the little FB snafu. And for all of you who are going to join us later, if not, if you've joined us live, stay safe, stay healthy. We look forward to talking with you next week.